Welcome to the Bold Analysis. In this podcast, I want us to look at some very strange observations that I made on this Wednesday and what exactly they point out in terms of the crisis that Kenya is facing. And of course, the protest was witnessed in different parts of this country. Areas that were dominantly reported were the Nairobi, which is Mathare in the morning. There was, of course, a confrontation between the police and the protesters. There were some parts of Waiyaki and Kangemi. Then there was Kibera, the Woodley, Jacaranda, the Kamkunji. These were spaces where there was supposed to be some meeting. There's some parts of Mudurwa, and town was in total standstill. In fact, in the morning hours, the vehicles were not even moving within town, and there was a total paralysis in terms of business. The other areas that also witnessed were Mlolongo, Makueni, Homa Bay. There were some parts of Meru, Embu, I understand Nanyuki, where Martha Karua, what team was supposed to be there, Mombasa, and then other parts of Western, and Kilifi also, where some 2 MPs were arrested. So in terms of distribution, I think, and Nakuru, I was forgetting Nakuru and Naivasha. I've also seen just another clip they're saying it's from Naivasha. Now, what does that point out? What exactly are we dealing with? So in terms of distribution, if someone was looking at that was done, I think quite a majority of areas, and those who are saying that it is some few areas are simply trying to stay in denial. I made these 6 observations. Look at number 1. NYS officers were deployed in the streets and they were captured live on camera arresting protesters. And this was mostly in Nairobi, and I think they were also seen in Nairobi, and they were also seen arresting protesters around Kangemi. The question of sending NYS, I think our constitution, or rather the NYS charter, stipulates exactly the role of the National Youth Service. I don't know whether, I'm very sure they're not trained on managing riots. They're not trained on that, or even on guns and so. It's a wrong precedence, because if we start by deploying NYS, clearly NYS are civilians, if you ask me. After they're done with the uniform, they stay in these shanties, by the way. The NYS guys stay in Kibera, Mathare, these slums. They stay in those slums. They're not having a very decent pay, unlike policemen who are mostly operate within police quarters, headquarters, or they have their servants' quarters within around the police station. Are we not putting the lives of these innocent young men and women at risk? Because after this, then they will get back. They'll just go back to their areas where they stay. With that bigger pay, they don't fall within the cadre of police officers. And how are we sure that maybe we are just taking some other group of security forces and giving them NYS uniforms? Someone needs really to think of that. I looked at that and I think it brought some discomfort on my end. Number 2, in Kibera, there was a helicopter that was patrolling when monitoring where protesters were convened. And it is understood that protesters, they would actually retreat to the densely populated slum. There are also instances that security officers even fished them out from the inside slums. The moment we allow the security officers to get inside the slums, isn't it very risky, because they are going to interact and meet people who maybe, or majority of them, are not even part of the protest. I do believe that protesters, someone seated in front in his house is not protesting. Even if you think that this area of the slum, like this Madare slum, these fellows are protesting, but if someone is inside that Mabati structure, that person is not a protester. That person is not protesting. It's a very delicate one, because we can fall into the trap of, getting extrajudicial acts, especially on such occasions, and even in such areas. Even better still, it also risks the life of the security officers. By then, we've not been speaking about this. The truth of the matter here is, the police men and women that are also fighting with protesters, even though we've been asking whether they're not feeling the pinch of what the rest of the country are feeling, but because they're in the duty, the call for duty, when they also get into such environments, it's not that friendly. Third observation is, the police were ordered not to report casualties from the protests. So this is an order that came some time back, and we understand. And what does that mean? Of course, who knows who killed who? It is something that you may want to see. I made another observation in Nakuru. Nakuru West MP Samuel Arama drew a gun and was captured on camera holding a gun, threatening to shoot protesters who were protesting around that place. And I'm told things didn't go well until at one point he was also, I think his hotel was also attacked. But when MP or when leaders also bring the arms, aren't we charging the masses? Maybe. Some other observation, the fifth observation I make, and I know I've reported about it, is the arrests of only those around Raila Odinga. Today, yesterday night, there was a reported arrest of Babu Owino, unconfirmed though. Then today in the morning, there was another reported arrest of Raila Odinga's bodyguard, and again another one was reported of arrest of Raila Odinga's spokesperson Dennis Onyango around the railway place. So one thing I have realized is these arrests today, the high-profile arrests, are just of the people around Raila Odinga, his personal bodyguard, and also the spokesperson. Probably the police wanted to find out whether the spokesperson is carrying his speeches, or maybe he was writing his speech that was going to read. Instead, they just wanted to know, to make sure that press briefing is not done, or probably they're looking for Raila Odinga. You may never know. Why they're looking for Raila Odinga in the residence of the spokesperson? Were they looking for Raila Odinga? They thought maybe Raila, trailing the bodyguard, thinking that the bodyguard is with Raila. So these are things that are all there. Last minute push. There was also some last minute move that Mama Ngina Kenyatta's security was restored by today mid-morning. By the way, and even the protest that was supposed to be organized there, I don't think it happened, even though I saw the photos that they had actually acquired the services of private companies, private bodyguards to help them protect the promise. This strange observations I made makes me arrive at these two conclusions. Number one, the government side, the government side preparedness or commitment in ending the stalemate is very low. The commitment in bringing peace, it's either not there or it's a very weak point. It's a very weak point. I don't think someone is looking at bringing peace. That's one observation I can see from it, because look at the issues about dressing or sending NYS to the streets. I think they should be cleaning, but are they overwhelmed? The second bit, are security forces overwhelmed? That's why we are sending NYS. What exactly is going on? Is it that the situation is dire? Is it that we are not just reporting, but the protest is bigger than what we are seeing? That is why you could see some reinforcements from NYS. Lastly, humanitarian organizations or bodies must then upscale their vigilance, because official government position on casualties cannot be trusted. It's now a confidential affair. So it's upon the journalists and the international organizations and other observers of the situation to make sure that they take every single photo or video of whatever is happening in the country. Otherwise, we may not know what exactly is happening in the dark. Thank you.